Solar Orbiter is an international collaboration between the European Space Agency or ESA and NASA to study our closest star, the Sun. Launched on February 9, 2020 EST, the spacecraft completed its first close path of Sun in mid-June. ESA NASA Solar Orbiter returns first data snaps and closest pictures of the Sun. The first images from ESA's NASA's Solar Orbiter are now available to the public, including the closest picture ever taken of the Sun. These unprecedented pictures of the Sun are the closest we have ever obtained, said Holly Gilbert, NASA project scientist for the mission at the NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in the Greenbelt, Maryland. These amazing images will help scientists piece together the Sun's atmospheric layers, which is important for understanding how it drives space weather near the Earth and throughout the solar system. We didn't expect such great results so early, said Daniel Mueller, ESA's Solar Orbiter project scientist. These images show that Solar Orbiter is off to an excellent start. Getting to this point was no simple feat. The novel coronavirus forced mission control at European Space Operations Center or ESOC in Darmstadt, Germany to close down completely for more than a week. During commissioning, the period when each instrument is extensively tested, ESOC staff were reduced to a skeleton crew. All but essential personnel worked from home. The pandemic required us to perform critical operation remotely. The first time we have ever done that, said Russell Howard, principal investigator for one of Solar Orbiter's images. But the team adapted, even readying for an unexpected encounter with Comet Atlas's iron and dust tails on June 1 and 6 respectively. The spacecraft commissioning just in time for its first close solar pass on June 15, as it flew within 48 million miles of the Sun. All 10 instruments flicked on and Solar Orbiter snapped the closest picture of the Sun to date. Other spacecraft have been closer, but none have carried sun-facing imagers. Solar Orbiters carry 6 imaging instruments, each of which studies a different aspect of the Sun. Normally, the first image from a spacecraft confirms the instruments are working. Scientists don't expect new discoveries from them, but the Extreme Ultraviolet Imager or EUI on Solar Orbiter returned data hinting at solar features never observed in such detail. Principal investigator David Bergmans, an astrophysicist at the Royal Observatory of Belgium in Brussels, points out what he calls campfire, dotting the Sun in EUI's images. The campfires we are talking about here are the little nephews of solar flares, at least a million, perhaps a billion times smaller, Bergman said. When looking at the new high-resolution EUI images, they are literally everywhere we look. It is not yet clear what these campfires are or how they correspond to solar brightenings observed by other spacecraft, but it's possible they are mini explosions known as nanoflares, tiny but ubiquitous sparks theorized to help heat the Sun's outer atmosphere or corona to its temperature 300 times hotter than the solar surface. To know for sure, scientists need a more precise measurement of the campfire's temperature. Fortunately, the spectral imaging of the coronal environment or SPICE instrument also on Solar Orbiter does just that. So we are eagerly awaiting our next data set, said Frederick Ott, principal investigator for SPICE operation at the Institute of Space Astrophysics in Orsay, France. The hope is to detect nanoflares for sure and to quantify their role in coronal heating. Other images from spacecraft showcase additional promise for later in the mission when Solar Orbiter is closer to the Sun. The Solar and Heliospheric Imager or SOLO-HI, led by Russell Howard of the Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C., revealed the so-called zodiacal light from Sun reflecting off of interplanetary dust, a light so faint that the bright face of the sun normally obscures it. To see it, solar HI had to reduce the sun's light to 1/1,000,000th of its original brightness. The images produce such perfect zodiacal light patterns, so clean, Howard said, that give us a lot of confidence that we will be able to see solar wind structures when we get closer to the sun. Images from the Polar Helioseismic Imager or PHI showed it is also primed for later observations. PHI maps the sun's magnetic field with a special focus on its poles. It will have its heyday later in the mission as solar orbiter gradually tilts its orbit to 24 degrees above the plane of the planet, and giving it an unprecedented view of the sun's pole. The magnetic structures we see at the visible surface show that PHI is receiving top quality data, said Sami Solanki, PHI's principal investigator at the Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research in Göttingen, Germany. We are prepared for the great science as more of the sun's pole comes into the view. Today's release highlights solar orbiter's imager, but the mission's 4 in situ instruments also revealed initial results. In situ instruments measure the space environment immediately surrounding the spacecraft. The Solar Wind Analyzer or SWA instrument shared the first dedicated measurement of heavy ions, carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron and others in solar wind from the inner heliosphere. The new data, including movies and images with detailed descriptions, can be viewed in ESA's gallery. Solar Orbiter is an international cooperative mission between European Space Agency and NASA. The European Space Operations Center (ESOC) in Germany operates Solar Orbiter. Solar Orbiter was built by Airbus Defence and Space and contains 10 instruments, 9 provided by ESA, member states and ESA. NASA provided 1 instrument, Solar HI hardware and sensor for 3 other instruments, and the Atlas V 411 launch vehicle. The European Space Astronomy Center (ESAC) in Spain conducts the science operations. This was only the first data sent back to Earth by the Solar Orbiter. We don't know what it may reveal us in the near future. Maybe it can give a strong evidence for the Big Bang Theory. So subscribe to our channel to get more information related to space, science and technology. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon.